In the annals of military history, few units have managed to capture the imagination quite like the Potsdam Giants, the towering battalion of Prussia. Officially known as the Grand Grenadiers of Potsdam, this regiment gained notoriety not just for their military prowess, but also for their extraordinary stature. Created under the rule of Frederick William I of Prussia, affectionately known as the Soldier King, the regiment was unique in its strict criterion for membership, an impressive height of at least 1.88 meters, or about 6 feet 2 inches. The formation of the Potsdam Giants was very much a product of Frederick William I's eccentricities and his vision for a formidable army. Ascending the throne in 1713, he was renowned for his fascination with soldiers, in particular, tall soldiers. This fascination turned into a full-fledged mission when he established the regiment, making height the primary measure of a soldier's worth in this particular unit. Contrary to typical military recruitment practices of the time, where skill and experience often took precedence, the Potsdam Giants leaned heavily on the visual and intimidating impact of their stature. To recruit men of such stature, King Frederick William employed a range of incentives and tactics. He sought out tall men beyond the borders of Prussia, offering rewards to those willing to join his Grand Grenadiers. Political leverage was even used, with the king negotiating with other rulers for the acquisition of tall men, often as part of treaties or diplomatic exchanges. Domestically, he went so far as to compel families with notably tall sons to offer them to his regiment. The king was not adverse to showcasing his pride and joy during military reviews and parades, often accompanied by dignitaries and foreign visitors who were equally amazed by the spectacle of the giants. However, the regiment was much more than a royal indulgence. The tall soldiers were rigorously trained and disciplined, forming an effective fighting force. Despite their unwieldy reputation as the king's playthings, the giants were put to serious military tasks. Over time, the Potsdam Giants became emblematic not only of the peculiarities of Frederick William I but also of the efficiency and organization of the Prussian military system, which would lay the groundwork for the formidable German military forces in later centuries. While Frederick William I considered the regiment his legacy and treasured them immensely, the Potsdam Giants faced an uncertain future upon his death in 1740. His son and successor, Frederick II, known as Frederick the Great, had less interest in maintaining such a regiment. However, the legacy of the Giants persisted as a testament to the unique wedge of history carved by the Soldier King, proving that sometimes the measures of military might can be tall, indeed. The Potsdam Giants, also known as the Long Grenadiers, were a Prussian infantry regiment founded in the early 18th century by King Frederick William I of Prussia. Known for their extraordinary height and unique uniforms, these soldiers were more than just a symbol of military prowess. They were part of the king's personal guard and a significant element of Prussian pride. Life for a Potsdam Giant was unlike any other soldier in Europe at the time. Their living conditions and compensation packages were exceptional, reflecting their unique role in society. The soldiers often resided in well-maintained barracks close to the king's palace, with amenities far superior to those of ordinary soldiers. Their uniforms, with intricate embroidery and distinctive tall hats, distinguished them from other regiments, giving them a revered status. Recruitment into the ranks of the Potsdam Giants was not purely voluntary. Many giants were procured from across Europe through coercion or by offering generous financial incentives to their families. Once recruited, the soldiers received higher-than-average wages. They were granted several privileges, such as a better diet, quality medical care, and opportunities for career advancement, in exchange for their towering stature and service. Training among the Potsdam Giants was rigorous, characterized by unique methodologies. While standard military drills taught the essentials of combat, the Giants training regimen also placed a special emphasis on height-specific tactics, ensuring that their physical presence could be strategically utilized during battle. This included exercises to enhance endurance and strength, roles and ceremonial details that highlighted their impressive stature, and even practice in formations that leveraged their advantage of height. Discipline within the ranks was unwavering. Enforced through a stringent code of conduct, any infractions, irrespective of the soldier's status, were met with severe punishments, maintaining the regiment's reputation as one of the most elite forces. They were admired for their appearance and discipline. The Potsdam Giants were involved in pivotal moments of European history, serving during the War of the Austrian Succession and contributing significantly to Prussian military successes. However, their role often leaned more towards ceremonial duties. They served as an intimidating presence rather than active combatants in the field. The Giants regiment gradually declined in significance after the death of King Frederick William I, as his son, Frederick the Great, did not share his father's fascination with the Giants. Eventually, the regiment was disbanded, marking the end of one of the most unique military units in history. But the legacy of the Potsdam Giants endures as a fascinating chapter in the chronicles of military history. They are remembered for their splendor, discipline, and the peculiar blend of martial artistry and grand spectacle that defined their existence. The Potsdam Giants, formerly known as the Prussian Infantry Regiment No. 6, was a unique formation within the historical military forces of the Kingdom of Prussia. This regiment was famous for its requirement that all its soldiers be exceptionally tall, with many towering above 3 meters. The regiment was originally formed by Frederick William I of Prussia, known as the Soldier King, who had a fascination for very tall soldiers. He believed that their intimidating stature would impress Allied powers and strike fear in their foes. Thus, the Potsdam Giants became an emblem of prestige and power, often used for ceremonial purposes rather than combat effectiveness. Despite their imposing presence, they never were considered a real fighting force, primarily due to their unwieldy size. Several factors contributed to the decline of the Potsdam Giants. The regiment was costly to maintain, given the difficulty in recruiting adequately tall soldiers and the substantial resources required to equip and sustain them. Furthermore, when Frederick William I died in 1740, his son and successor, Frederick the Great, held no interest in maintaining the regiment, viewing it as impractical. He eventually disbanded it in favor of investing in a more balanced and effective military force. The disbandment was as swift as the regiment's earlier rise, reflecting the shifting priorities of military strategy from spectacle to functionality. The influence of the Potsdam Giants on military history is relatively niche. Yet they hold a peculiar place in the annals of military prowess in Europe. Their presence emphasized the importance of psychological warfare and the art of intimidation, even if symbolic. Moreover, their existence demonstrated a point in history where the appearance of power was momentarily entertained as a genuine component of military strength. Surprisingly, tales of the Potsdam Giants have endured through time. One of the fascinating stories is how Frederick William I would go to extraordinary lengths to recruit tall men, often exchanging soldiers for exceptionally tall specimens from other countries or simply having them drafted by force during his travels. Despite their short-lived practical role, they cast a long shadow over Prussia's image at the time. The legacy of the Potsdam Giants continues to spark interest and inspire historical analysis regarding how militaries were shaped by both practical necessities and extravagant fascinations of their leaders. They serve as a reminder of the human element in military history, where personal preferences can shape policy, with consequences ranging from the whimsical to the strategically significant.